All right, guys, we got Vinny here. Today we decided we're gonna go do some mountain biking. So it's kind of a hobby we've been doing for a couple years now. So we're trying out these new trails over in Holly, Michigan. We've never been here. I think Paul's been here before. I believe he has. But gotta unload the bikes and then we're gonna hit the trails.
Start it up.
Consequence of mountain biking sometimes. When you catch yourself off balance on the boardwalk, you pay the price.
Fuck, that's cool.
Trail's going pretty good. Again, we don't know this trail, so it's kind of a learning curve. Most of it's been uphill and muddy because there's a bunch of water everywhere.
That sucked. That really sucked. Guys, what's going on? So today we are at my uncle's shop and we are working on these ice track carts that they are building. So they got a nice little Predator 212 on them, and basically we're just going to show you a little bit of what they're working on here, and hopefully we can keep you guys updated on this build over time and then show you them in action, because
All custom made, right? So there's a little bit of guidelines that they're going with, but I mean, these guys are fabbing up and designing everything from the steering knuckles to the motor mounts and the rear end. I mean, just everything. It's fantastic.
So, you know, they've got basically, they're going for that kind of like 30s roadster kind of look. So we're just going to show you kind of this process, kind of what they've been doing and what they're going to work towards.
So we picked up these differentials out of go-kart, like out of lawn track, but the axle stopped short of where we needed. So what we did was we actually went and machined.
It's like the keyed axle that we
Yeah, same keyed axle that we put on.
It's a go-kart live axle that we machined. We did them on the lathe out here. I did them on the lathe out here. And essentially we did cut them to length by side, so they'll ever fuck them on here. And then we drilled the pilot hole down the middle and tapped it and used threaded rod to tie the two together.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna weld it to make one axle. The problem is that's not strong enough on its own. So we're gonna couple it together to the other side.
I gotcha.
And then we have not only the torsion transfer, but then we won't buckle.
Yeah.
We're using hubs basically from a
That's the way it
go-kart,
started. Yep.
right? Pressing the studs out, cutting off the ring, and then we have the hub.
Gotcha.
So this.
Okay, so that's what
comes
that
to the
is.
center
I
in there.
gotcha. Yep.
Okay.
And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna reuse the ring from the hub as a frame reinforcement for the bearing. This is so we can remove the axle and service everything.
Yep.
This gives us the strength on the frame.
So right now what we're doing is we're just gonna press these bolts out, and once you get past the knurled end, they just drop right out right in my hand. We had to do this to all four of them, then it just pops right out. So we got to do that all the way around.
More of a workout, just cranking the pump.
It pretty much is, but you know what? When you're alone, it gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? So now it'll go this way. All right. Now what we'll do is we'll go and we'll plasma cut this off right here, so we just have the bearing.
show you where these go. So that'll be our brake and our gas pedal. So these are gonna kind of hang. We got to make some brackets come right off of here. They'll hang right here. So this will be gas, this will be brake. That's cool. So they're off of they're bear claw bicycle pedals. And then we're gonna run a small battery right up in the front here.
Okay.
Run all the wire lines to the back. We'll have headlights. We're gonna have brake lights.
So now, are there shows, competitions, track days?
Yeah, they do these all over the country. There's a big one in Tifton, Arizona, and a lot of like small pockets all across the country where they do races and they do gatherings. It's like a gentleman's sport, right? That's why we're only running a 6.5 horsepower. It's not about the speed, it's more about the camaraderie.
It's not the big dick energy where everyone needs to outperform everybody.
Bingo, right? It's not about that. It's just about building something cool. That the main thing about karting, cycle karting, is that they want you to be the builder. So it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it's to what you like. Try to keep the cost around $2,000. Some go over, some are under. There's a company down south somewhere that they produce these.
Little kids.
You can buy a full kit.
Buy a full car for
Yeah,
about
well, you
$5
were
grand.
talking about,
Yeah,
yeah.
about $5 grand.
Yeah.
But the spirit of it is.
But that's the lazy. You know, they do a great job. They look phenomenal. But it's kind of, to me, it's the lazy man's way of doing it, right? It's like money can buy everything. The experience of doing it, it makes it your own. You take pride in it. You know, when you walk around it and say, you know, we built that from scratch. I mean, that was steel.
From parts from what this website, that website, TSC, here and there.
Or a lot of what we do is, instead of buying the parts from the website, we hand make them. We'll look at the website, get the ideas from it. Sam's super smart in engineering it, and then we together build it with our hands.
The front axle was 100% fab. None of that was bought.
None of it's bought. It's all hand done, all out of his
All the
brain.
geometry was done by you.
In the computer, using his engineering skills, and then we use my hand skills and fab skills along with his, and we just build what we see. So this is what this cart right here. I'll bring this over to you. So this cart is going to end up looking like this little Ford right here. And then here's some examples of some of the carts that people have built in the past. It's, you know, COVID has kind of put a halt to a lot of the traveling and gatherings. But, you know, we have a whole booklet here that shows you how to build it with dimensions that a good friend of ours, James Mantua, put together. It's a parts list.
Kind of like a starter.
It's a starter kit, right? So, but this is something he did on his own, and because we're good friends, he gave this to us to use, and it's been invaluable. It's been great. This is the original sketch of the first idea of when I wanted to start building it. So if you can see right here, you'll see that's my head, my shoulder, my hip point or H point, my knee, and then my heel point. So that's where I'll be sitting in the car. The plan is to have a miniature convertible top, but we'll see how that goes down the road. That may be an add-on later, but that's just the original sketch.
And I took his sketch and turned it into that. And that's kind of how we set the basis for the whole cart. So, you know, we kind of had, again, the walkthrough of kind of a rough outline of how to do it. And then we've made changes along the way, right, to what we thought made sense, parts, pieces, you know, the engine, the differential, the front suspension, things like that to make it different and make it our own. So, and that's really the whole spirit of the whole thing.
On it every day, but we just can't. You know, we have families and we work on it when we can. Hopefully this will be a surprise for my family when they see it. We'll see if they watch CaswellCustoms. That surprise may get blown, which is all good.
Well, it's funny because like that's the thing that like I love. Like, you know, when we met Cody with the box runner truck, everyone's always like, you know, it's like when I have time. It's like, you know,
and you never have time.
Exactly.
You gotta make it.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's all, you know, it's the stuff you love doing.
I'm gonna make some quick templates out of cardboard. We build everything out of cardboard first, just so we can dry fit it and test it before we go wasting any material or having to go spend money on more material, obviously. So what we're doing right now is I'll just trace this out real quick, and then we'll use this to set up our attachment to the frame for our couplings. So this was the bearing opening right here, and we'll just trace it real quick, get everything here. Right, so that'll be that one. And then this one here, we need the bolt pattern set up so we can transfer this to the frame. So then we'll cut those out real quick. The whole key to cutting a line like this is breathe. Most people with an X-Acto blade, they do not breathe when they do this, and they get all tense. And
I'll be sitting there holding my breath the whole time.
yeah, no, you gotta breathe and just go slow, and walk the line. So when I'm cutting stuff like this, I'm never looking where I'm cutting, I'm looking where I'm going to be cutting. So I'm searching ahead for that line to keep that line going. Now I've made a complete circle and I've just scored it. So now I'm just now putting extra pressure because now the blade has somewhere to go. The key too about cutting anything with cardboard is the mat that's underneath it. It's a little bit soft and it allows the blade to run smoothly through the cardboard. If you go to cut this on the hard table, that tip's gonna probably break and then you don't get a nice clean cut line. Right on out. So there's my templates. And all you gotta do is pop some holes and we'll be good to go.
Like do like a C-notch out of that, or?
So what the idea here is we needed a little spacer so that we could use the collar to adequately cover both sides of the two axles. So the one we had to make and the one that was here.
Gotcha.
And what this is going to do, we want to keep this a full circle so that it'll actually reinforce the frame through here. So since this frame is already notched, there's a risk it could buckle.
Gotcha.
So the idea here is with this ring, if we can bolt through the frame in 3 spots,
I gotcha.
it'll act like a complete ring, plus it acts as a safety. So in case all 4 of these bearings come out, we don't actually lose the axle from the frame.
I gotcha.
Just kind of something safety. Most guys will do, again, just the straight axle they can pull out, so they don't have to worry about this. But what we were trying to achieve here was 2 things. One, we needed a way to pull the whole diff out because we can't just slide the diff out one side.
Yep.
The other part was we wanted to have the axle dropped so that we could get the frame lower to the ground. In order to do that, we had to come through the top half of the frame, and we needed this top piece to reinforce the pillow block bearings. So now this is kind of evolving again because of what we had to do to piece the 2 axles together, and we're very close, I think. You got one of those, you tossed me one of those? So the whole idea is this will act as a spacer and a reinforcement. So when we get the coupler in there to reinforce the 2 axles, so when we can get that in there, the idea is now I also have a spacer so I can overlap both axles equally.
Gotcha.
And I don't have to interfere with the pillow block.
Makes sense.
So, and that's just it's funny because again we used pieces we could find, and this axle shaft was actually shorter than that. No, I'm sorry, it's reversed. That one was shorter than this one. So that one I had space, but this one, as you can see, if I can get this off here, it's too close to the bearing. So this shaft was actually longer with where it got positioned.
Gotcha.
So those are recommended, again, that we put a spacer, and we're just trying to make sure that we're using it as efficiently as possible. And you can see we're reusing it from the hubs that we had.
It's like it was meant to be.
No,
Sammy,
we don't have to.
Sammy, listen.
Like the key stuff.
The Sonic needs to be turbocharged, okay? Your 0 to 60 will be phenomenal. Your time to go to work, you can sleep in, what, 5-10 minutes? You'll still get there on time. We need to turbo the Sonic. It's done. It's a said deal. I'm sorry.
So it's a done deal. Paul, get it in the cart.
Yeah.
I want his Milwaukee electric wrench. Not even the ratcheting wrench.
Yeah. Didn't know I had to bring my service van out here.
pair of box wrenches.
You know what there is to say about it? It sucks.
Yeah. We are work smarter, not harder for sure.
This is what I get for having tools here and tools at home.
You cannot win. I can't afford 2 sets of everything.
That's exactly right. And my ratcheting box wrenches are at home.
Getting back to your roots right here, box wrenches and all. Let's just take this washer and put it right in here.
Once you pull the governor, warranty ended. Just gonna wrap it up. So obviously we didn't get a ton done, but there's always this little fine tuning when you're building something like this, especially when it's a custom one-off project. But we'll try and keep you guys updated. We definitely want to be coming out here a lot more often. You know, I like coming out, hanging out with my uncle, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. So, but if you're ever looking for any kind of custom paint work or anything and you're in the Michigan area, my uncle is a super talented artist. We'll tag his Instagram, but he'll let you know everything he can do. So
Yeah, just hit me up at Petrito Designs as my Instagram. I don't have a ton of posts, but there's some cool stuff on there. If there's something you want to see, you know, hit me up and I'll send you a sample of what I can do. I've been painting for 35 years, PPG certified painter. If there's something custom you guys want, you dream it up, I can make it happen, and we'll work it out. But I want to thank CaswellCustoms for hooking me up and doing this shoot tonight, and hope you guys dug what we showed you. And you know, look for some future videos on finishing up these carts. We've been working on them forever, but you know, patience, time, we'll get it done. So come back and check us out on the next one.
So we will definitely be back, and hopefully we get to see these things running very shortly. So I'm Vinny, Paul, right behind the camera,
Dave.
See you in the next one. It is the next morning, and I'm back in my garage at home, and I am finally going to be building my workbench for this area. Just like that, workbench area is put together. I didn't film any of the process, but I will kind of show you how I configured everything, and also go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can see what this box is going to.
No. Pretty Caroline. Oh, 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 oh.